lot to do today. I've been on holiday, I've come back, I came in on Monday to do a job, I had to wait ages for them to deliver the DPD guy to deliver, the courier to deliver a cup for me to engrave. And at the moment I've got something, I'll just move my laptop, I'm on the laptop here, I've got a job in the machine there, busy engraving a base. I shall get it out to let you see it, because it's finished. I have been engraving the last bit there, and this is probably in reverse because we're doing it from the laptop, but that's what I've engraved at the last line. 2016 Old Walk Manor KA Blades. So that's our latest one. Excellent. On with the next one. Can you see behind here this cross here? Well, this used to be a spiritualist church before we moved in here, and when we first moved in, we actually felt it very comfortable in here. We're not spiritualists at all. We're not religious, to be honest. And we just decided that rather than take that cross away, it was actually on this back wall here where those blue things are. But we decided we'd put it there. Oh, a big bumblebee. Oh, a massive bumblebee. I've got to catch that. I don't want it to die. Come on, she'll take you out. Moved out and dealt with. It's been taken out. I carried it. It sat on there, and I carried it out of the building and off its floor. And I don't like getting rid of bumblebees because they're really nice insects. Anyway, what happened was, not long after we moved in here, we used to have a shop in the middle of town, and one of our customers came to us and she said, "Oh, I'm praying for you. I really am praying for you because you're in a spiritualist church and the spirits will be getting you. I really worry about you." And I kept saying, well, I actually like being here. I really feel like it's homely and I really enjoy being here. And she went out the door and she said, "I'm really going to pray for you. I'm really going to pray for you." Anyway, a few weeks later, this gentleman came in. He said, we used to be the Methodist church. We came in after the spiritualist church and we loved it here as well. He said, "We really enjoyed being here." And apparently that was their cross. It wasn't the spiritualist one. It was a cross from the Methodist church. And so we thought, right, well, nice, it's nice to hear. Anyway, that same lady came back and I said, "Oh, did you know that it was apparently a Methodist church after it had been a spiritualist church?" And she went, "Oh, well, that's why you're really happy there, because the Methodist church has washed all the spirits away and they're not there around you. And so I'm so pleased. I'm pleased. I really didn't want to come here because you've got spirits around you." So we actually like being here, and whether it's the Methodist church that had something to do with it or whether it's the spirits, we actually think it's a great place to work in. So anyway, it's lovely talking to you, and that's my today's story. Okay, bye. Hi everybody, welcome to my vlog number 6. I haven't done any clothes vlogs for a few weeks. I did do a patterns one the other week that was tied in with the Sew Today magazine, but this time I've been sewing quite a lot of clothes. I've been sewing a few over May, quite a few over June, and a few just now in July. It's the middle of July now. Probably won't do much more until August because I've got the grandchildren coming in. We're off on a holiday to the seaside up north of England, back to my old roots where I actually come from, and it's the most beautiful beach the beaches there are, in my opinion, the best in the country. But who am I? I'm from there, so I'm a bit biased. Anyway, I'm going to start with the one I'm wearing which is just, this is what I would call a tester. It's like a toile. It was to see what it would turn out like, and I just thought I'd try it with some old fabric. The pattern I've used is McCall's 7390. I think I showed you it in one of my patterns things. That's it with the stripes, and I think that is absolutely gorgeous. This one here, the view that I've done is view B, but I've added pockets to it because I thought it might be quite nice with the pockets, and I've changed the pockets a little bit. If you look at those pockets, they've kind of bulge out. They've got little dots on each corner, and that bulges them out, and I didn't want that. Instead I put kind of a patch pocket on. I don't know if you can see that there. It's a patch pocket, and I could put my hands in like that. It's made from, this is some fabric I bought for the granddaughter to make something, and I never got around to making it. And I think they used to be into purples, now they're into blues and reds. So this was some spare material I had, and this was a brown material that I had, which it was for one of the girls to make some kind of peasant costume, and it's kind of got little leaves on it, little flowers on it, but it was like in a dark brown colour. And when I'd finished with it, what I had left, I thought, oh, I'm not going to do anything in dark brown, it's not my favourite colour. So here I decided I'd dye it. So I dyed it purple, I think it is, purple I used, purple dye. I do a lot of dyeing, and I'll show you a blouse that I dyed later on, and that was just made it look a bit nicer. So then I had this material, I had that material, I just tied them together. The one thing I'm not sure, I'm going to have to be very, very careful that I match those up exactly. I think they're very close to being matched, but one always feels like it's slightly higher than the other. The other thing is, I had some interfacing, some iron-on interfacing, and I have some really soft stuff, but I couldn't find it, and I had to use some that's slightly, I think it's not firm, it's medium. I think it was medium, but I just feel like it's a bit rigid around here because this front panel was done with an interfacing to it. In fact, it's basically double-sided, you see, double-sided there and there, and so don't know that I would put the interfacing in again next time. I would do it on the collar, probably understandably round that part, but it just feels a bit too rigid down the front. Or it might look better with a softer interfacing. I've since gone and bought some interfacing, soft one, and as sure as eggs, I'll find the one that I already bought, so we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, I bought some other fabric to try a second attempt at this. I haven't managed to get stripy fabric, which I like the way that's set out. So, but the one that I've got is a charcoaly grey black fabric, which I think might look quite nice. The other thing that I've done is, that one is the one that I basically did, but I've done the back of that one to make it, or did I do that on? No, in fact, sorry, I tell a lie. I did that one, which has a bit more of a flare. Having a big bottom, I thought that might look a bit nicer, and it's actually quite flattering. I think when you see the picture up here, you'll see that it looks really flattering, quite flattering to me. So this, would I do it again? Well, I am going to do it again. Am I happy with it? Yes. Considering this is just a taster or a tester or a toile, I'm happy with it. I'll wear it for work, and I would recommend it to you. I think it's quite nice. I think it's lovely. It's a lovely style for people with big bottoms. It's flattering. So yes, I would do that again. This is the second version that I've done of that same pattern. It's in grey. I'll stand up and show you. You'll probably see I'll put a little photo film up as well. It's grey. I've made the stripes go that way down the front panel, and I've made them go crossways on the side panel. I've top stitched with my favourite double running top stitch, which I think is nice. I've done that in pink, in a fuchsia pink, and I've done the same on the bottom there. I think it stands out. It looks quite nice. I like the I'll move it back and let you see. I like the style of it. I think it's very flattering. Sorry, it's very windy here today. This was taken a few days after the last one, but it's still quite windy. In England we have a lot of wind, especially in the northeast. It's if you notice the previous one, the sleeves were further off my shoulder there, and I looked at the pattern and I thought, well, that's strange, and actually they should be here, but I quite like them off the shoulder. And I've actually I have this awful habit of not reading the instructions. I'm a bit like a man. Just because I know more or less the procedure, I just take the pattern, have a quick glance through the instructions, and then sew the way that I think it should be sewn. And I actually did the bias on this sleeve of the other purple one completely different from this one. And I thought, well, you know, maybe why is it so far off the shoulders? Well, I had to put the bias on the end, whereas this one, the actual instructions tell you to put the bias on the seam and then turn it in, so it's actually lying like that on the inside. So that's where the difference is there. Use the softer interfacing. It still feels quite thick because it has got a I've lined it with a purple fabric there. I just had enough to do this top without the lining, so I just thought nice purple fabric might look quite nice. You don't actually see it, but it's quite flattering. I love it. I do love this pattern, and I would certainly do it again, especially when I've got a bigger bottom and I just think it's flattering. The only thing is, I still will do it. I'd love to get this stripy one done when I get the right fabric. But the only thing is, I could be working in a dentist. Oh, well, I'd have to be white if I was in a dentist. But I could be working in a dentist, or I could be a hairdresser. Yes, madam, can I cut your hair? Oh, yes. It's very hairdressy. I really enjoyed making it. It took me an evening, a couple of hours, I would say, just to do it, to cut it out and sew it, and all I need to do now is to get my hairdressing scissors out and start cutting people's hair. See you in a minute. The second item I made was, I loved the fabric. I thought this was lovely fabric, and I've got kind of a love-hate relationship with this fabric. I've never seen it before, this one. I saw it, I think it was Minever Crafts or something that I got it from. I may be wrong. And it's a scuba fabric, and a few people have told me about scuba fabric, and I thought, well, I'll see what it's like. You know, some people say it feels like scuba outer wear, and other people say it doesn't. It's a funny kind of fabric. It's kind of like nylon with a kind of wedge of foam or something in between. It's quite well, it's not really wedge with foam, but it reminds me of, in the olden days, nylon, dry nylon it was called, and it's kind of got a thicker texture to it. So the downside to that is that when you do any seams, they kind of stand out. Even if you try to iron them, they stand out. So what I had to do was top edge, my favourite stitching, top edge type stitching, just to flatten the seams down. Wasn't sure when I made it whether I'd like it, but what I have found is that it covers all the bumps and bulges, which I think is great. And because it's kind of a slippy fabric, when you move, it slides down over the bumps. It doesn't sort of like stick to the bumps. Some fabrics stick to the bumps when you wear them and move around, and you end up keep having to pull it down. Well, this kind of slides, and that is really helpful, because you do tend to like fabrics that do that to hide the bumps and bulges. It has, I just did a straightforward type of thing with some splits down the side. I often like splits down the side for the simple reason, I don't know if you can see them, I did a split like that, for the simple reason that if you've got a split, it's not clinging to you so much, so it gives it room to move down, to keep moving back to over your bottom again. And I just found that was more comfortable for me. So it's a Grain Line Studio top, this is. And when you go, sorry, start again. When you buy fabric online, it's not like when you go to the shop, you buy, if your pattern says that you need a metre and a quarter, you buy a metre and a quarter. When you buy it online, some companies sell them by half metres, but they are pricey. I'm sorry, but by my old standards, they are quite pricey. Other ones sell them only by the metre, so you end up having to get 2 metres, which leaves you with often less than a yard or a metre to use up. And so you either have to think of something else to do with it, or you end up with a lot of spare fabric. So I thought I had quite a bit left after this one, so I was going to make some kind of collar for under a coat, but then I changed my mind, because I thought, well, I can always get that again, and I decided to make something similar. And what I did was I made the top on the Butterick 5948, and the one that I did was the blue top there, but I didn't have enough material to make the sleeves turn back like that. I did get a pocket on it, and I didn't have enough, I can't remember if it had a facing or not, but I faced mine with a satin bias binding. So I did view E, Butterick 5948. I love this pattern, it's rather nice. I've done that one and I've done that one. This tends to land, just because I'm short, this tends to land just above on my hips, just above my hips, and I don't know that it's flattering, but I probably think it might look nice if it was with a skirt. But this is the one that I made. I didn't have enough material to do everything. The sleeves are slightly short. I took the sleeves in because I didn't like them very wide. There's a pocket there, and I had to do a seam down the front because I didn't have enough material to make it. So as you can see, I've done a seam, but I've done a stitch on either side of it just to accentuate the seam. And there's the black bias tape around it. This one I think it needs pressing a bit more, because it's a little bit twisted at the back, and I can't remember if I pressed it properly. But that one, again, used up a bit of material. I've now got 2 tops the same, one longer than the other. So that's that one. Using the same pattern, I made this one. I'm patching this vlog together with within the previous one that I did, and in the previous one I'm wearing this top, which is from the same pattern. That's the one I was telling you about, is view A in that one, the Butterick 5948. The only thing I would say is, if in the video you might keep seeing it keeps slipping off my shoulder. I have this tendency to have always one side move off my shoulder, probably because of the way I sit sometimes when I'm talking, or I can't remember if it was my right shoulder or my left one, but things tend to drop off easily there, and that was irritating me. So this might go in the charity bag. It's also very short, and I don't know if it's flattering. See, it keeps dropping off there. Anyway, this was some fabric I had left over, same sort of situation, too much fabric, leftover fabric from making a dress for my granddaughter, and obviously she wouldn't want the same thing again, so I thought, oh, I'll make it out of the giraffe fabric. Didn't have enough material to do the bias, to do the tape around here, but in my stash was some 30-year-old bias binding in a pink colour, pink cross colour. I don't know if you can see that. And I pulled it out and I thought, oh, I'll use that. So this is 30-year-old material that's actually weathered very well, and it doesn't look too bad. It'll do for. I put a little seam in there. Now I put a little seam in, although there's not a seam on there, because I felt it was just too baggy, and I was very impressed with that one. Would I do it again? Yes, but I'd make it longer, because I like longer shirts and blouses.